Hey everybody, it's PartyElite. Welcome you back to our Dark Heresy beta gameplay mini-series, where we've just put together our warband, and we find ourselves waiting to board our gun cutter to engage with the greater tasks at hand. Before we do that though, it's probably a good idea to pay another visit to our quartermaster over here and see if there isn't more that we can pick up. In the previous episode, I thought we were just going to go recruit our pilot first and then board our ship, but it seems that recruiting our pilot involves boarding our ship. So before we depart, let's go ahead and see if there isn't more gear that we'd like to get first. And apart from that, there is actually more conversation to be had here as well, which is probably worth doing. First though, I need to restock. We've taken a look at the Scintillan mission's wares already, so let's move on to the Lucidian's wares next, and again see if there's not only something worth picking up, but also something that we can maybe even afford, right? Like, yeah, there's some of this cheaper stuff, but then there's also the pricier stuff that's well beyond our reach for the time being. And actually some pretty interesting looking things over here. A dueling hood. If there's only one enemy within their influence, the wearer gains plus 6% more hit chance against them. Very situational, very interesting. A sniper rifle, but we already have one of those, right? 16 to 19 damage is ours. Okay, definitely not nearly as good, fair enough. So I guess I could sell mine for 5. Yeah, I'm good. I might as well hold on to that at that point. And it seems actually down over here, there are pieces of equipment that we don't have access to because our reputation isn't good enough. So in the previous episode, I mentioned that reputation has been carried over in a format from Rogue Trader. We saw it there as well. It probably functions a little differently, and I made a couple of assumptions that maybe having a higher reputation impacts prices and things like that. That might still be possible, but it seems quite clear here that reputation actually impacts access to wares as well. You need to have a better reputation with a faction in order to gain access to some of their better equipment. Cool, sounds good. I'm curious to see what kind of side quests and stuff come up in order to impact that reputation, but for the time being, it looks like there isn't too much for us to pick up over here. We've already got ourselves a bunch of multi-keys, right? We picked those up last session. Machine right sets, we have nobody right now in the party who can, in theory, use them, right? No tech priests among us. Melta charges, we talked about already. Howl grenades are fun. Yeah, they emit a piercing shriek on impact. The affected targets have their morale reduced by -3 and must pass a metal test with a -16 penalty. Those who fail suffer -15% hit chance for 2 rounds. That's no joke, but honestly, let's hold on to a bit of money rather than a very kind of situational piece of equipment and see what others have to offer. Just taking a quick look around to see if I can't change my vendors without having to back out. Doesn't seem to be the case, so back we go for a fresh conversation about restocking the Lathe World's fleet this time around. A bunch of similar stuff, but then we've got the Toxin Grenade over here, Plasma Pistol, not that we can afford it, Triumphant Mace, can't afford that either, and some more interesting stuff down over here. The Bruiser Armor, Metal Threaded Cloak. Whenever the wearer's heavy armor durability reaches 0, they gain +5 damage reduction. Oh, interesting. Just like a second layer of protection. And then a bunch of stuff that is beyond our reach, not because of our lacking wealth, but because of our lacking reputation. But I guess our lacking wealth does play a part as well. My goodness, some of this stuff is extremely expensive. Moving on, just one last vendor to investigate. We'll be quick about it and see what they have that's different. So these guys have frag grenades, Medicaid kits, still have multi-keys and machine right sets, but there's the Melta charge too. So a lot of common items between them, fair enough, and I guess that's exactly how they could be described. They're common items, but then there's stuff like the Oarsman's Cape here. Whenever the wearer heals an ally within their influence, they both gain +4 damage reduction for 1 round. That's fancy, okay. Again, unaffordable, but interesting to know the kind of stuff that exists out there, I suppose. And then a bunch of stuff that, again, well out of our reach due to a lack of reputation. Shopping, or lack thereof, all taken care of. Let's continue our conversation with Numis here. What's the issue with our allies? Glad to see you're taking an interest. Now, the quartermaster unfurls another scroll from the endless pile beside him. The Inquisition has in its possession a fully functioning yet unneeded Lehman Russ battle tank to which multiple factions across the Calixus sector have now laid claim. Some of these factions could greatly benefit the future endeavors of the Tarantine Cabal, provided we show a small measure of forbearance and understanding by handing over the relic. Which factions are you referring to? The Scintillan mission is the official representative of the Adeptus Ministorum in the Calixus sector. You might consider them the living embodiment of the ecclesiarchy in this part of the galaxy. The Scintillan Fusiliers are regiments of the Astra Militarum, recruited from this planet and thus carrying a significant political influence. The Lathe World's fleet arrived in the system long ago and actively protects the interests of the Adeptus Mechanicus, and of course there are the Lucidians. They make up the nobility of Scintilla, with the planet's governor, Lord Calixus Marius Hax, as their leader. Naturally, there are others, but these four are of primary interest to the Tarantine Cabal. They possess resources and power that, with a proper stimulus, could be directed towards goals favorable to the Inquisition. Okay, I thought the allies we were referring to at first were going to be the allies of ours that need our help, not those four factions, but it's good to get some background and information about who they are and where that equipment is coming from. Why should the Inquisition show forbearance and understanding in the first place? Whatever happened to fear and awe? I don't disagree. What benefit could each of them potentially bring? Why am I the one who has to decide this? Least important question of all, but where did that spare tank come from? Yeah, I would ask that. I would. This may be the least important question of all, but where did that spare tank come from? A reclamation from a distant part of Scintilla. I assume it comes from one of the ancient sites of skirmishes between the defenders of the Imperium and the enemies of humanity. Although the passage of time and harsh conditions have done little to harm the tank's internal workings, all identifying marks on its exterior have been erased, leaving its original ownership unclear. Currently, the Tarantine Cabal has determined that the Leman Russ holds greater value as a reputational asset rather than for its material worth. Very well. Well, I need some time to think it over. I've got more important work to deal with. I can't afford anything these guys have to offer anyway, so there's no point improving relations with them until I can actually afford something. So I need some time to think over. Quartermaster gives you an appraising look. Now, is this all you have? Looking over the proffered gear. For now, that is all there is. You crave variety? Then you will have to put in some work and win some new supply charters. Go to Scintilla and impress someone powerful. Or else, Numis gives an unpleasant grin, make them respect you and the Cabal. Sometimes it can be useful for the Holy Inquisition to show the common folk, even those in high stations, its sharp teeth. Cool, okay, maybe other factions or just like, wildly different kind of black market goods, things like that. Interesting. That aside, is there anything I ought to be aware of as I head out into the wilderness? Numis runs a finger along the parchment list. No, nothing of interest at the moment. And I think those are all the questions I would actually engage with. Those are all the questions I would actually ask. Not trying to play a completionist run over here, especially in the beta, so simply I must go. And I think we engage with, the missions ahead of us. I did miss this last time, I think, so let's go ahead and give it a quick inspection. The Vox alert system is silent. It'll emit a signal only when the Bastion Serpentis is under threat. That feels like foreshadowing to me. Now, before we head on over to the Verdict, which I believe is the name of our ship, right? Guncutter Verdict. Yeah. Before we jump on board, let's just take a quick look around, see what's there for us to peruse. Crates and tanks of supplies meticulously numbered by Numis's hand. How meticulous could he be? Ooh, hello. That's enough to help us afford something quite nice, actually. So let's go ahead and collect all of that. Again, keep our eyes out for any interactive elements. What do we got here? There are currently no unloading operations in progress, and the storehouse doors are unlocked. Or, sorry, are locked. So, might there be an opportunity to sneak in there at some point? By the way, I will note that, yes, we are ignoring one of the side quests that we took on previously. I'm okay with that. Also, I lay upon you the sacred duty of bringing candles that were consecrated in the Cathedral of Illumination. No fewer than 2 crates. Some potentially relevant conversation over here. A bit of world building, if you will, but looking at the journal really quickly, this scavenger that had to do with someone stealing stuff off of dead bodies, we're foregoing that for the time being. There's bigger fish to fry, right? But let's go ahead and take a look over the balcony over here. The gun cutter bears the marks of hundreds of flights completed and dozens of battles survived. Oh, hello, look at that. Hell yeah. That's our ship. I wish I could hide the UI and truly take it in, but that looks phenomenal. That looks phenomenal. Alright. Anything else for us to investigate up over here? Yes, indeed. What is this? The engraving reads, "The God Emperor sends forth his servants, enter the darkness without fear, and value duty above life." I'm gonna give it a good look. The art is phenomenal in this game. No surprise. But I really love just like the general sense of atmosphere, the general vibe, as it were. Anything interesting up over here, potentially? Take a look at this. The machine spirit of the cogitator meticulously gathers data about the mechanisms operating within the chamber. And here, cargo containers marked with unknown symbols indicating some of them are past deliveries from beyond the Calixus sector. Alright, I was hoping to come across some more goods that we could maybe commandeer for the purposes of the Inquisition. Requisition, perhaps even. Let's see if there's any important conversation to be had before we board. I think Hamar so far is my favorite, so he's the one I'll pick. Nope, just asking about getting loaded up. Very well. To the verdict we go. Master Pilot is waiting for you on the bridge. Follow me. Lead the way. Oh, geez, this guy actually runs. Holy, okay, he's booking it. He heard my criticism of the other guy from a couple episodes ago, and he's like, "Not me. You're Miss Haas." Time for a conversation, I think. Now, was that our ship that we were looking at earlier? Because that was the implication, but this thing's already looking out into space, so I don't know. Nonetheless, this is gorgeous. "Commander, my regards." A tall and painfully thin man in uniform bows to you with such zeal that it seems he might snap in half. A sly smile plays on his sharp-nosed face. "You're Miss Haas, pilot of the guncutter Verdict, ready to serve in the name of the God Emperor." I like this guy. I like this guy quite a bit. Also, I really like the writing. It's just phenomenal writing all over again. "It's fortunate that you've been appointed as the new commander of the guncutter. After Master de Terral's death, the Verdict and I could have ended up with anyone. It's a relief to see a familiar face." As he mentions your fallen mentor, the pilot grows somewhat somber. "So then, shall we begin your assuming of command?" "Why are you calling me commander?" "Ah, pay it no mind." Haas waves his augmented hand as if shooing away insects. "Naval habits. Calling you captain feels off. The ship's too small for that, but commander sounds dignified and fitting." Alright, well, what is the ship's condition? "We've been roughed up badly, to be sure, but the tech priests of the Bastion Serpentis did solid work. I personally kept an eye on them. Pick any bolt. I saw it being screwed in, and even gave a few instructions myself." A smug smile never leaves Yermis's thin face as he blatantly exaggerates his role in repairing the ship. "Well, how are you faring after Schultes' valor?" The pilot's animated face turns to stone. I try not to remember, Commander. I've become rather good at it. I thank the God Emperor for every dreamless night." "Very well. How do I take command of the guncutter?" "The Verdict is a ship with history and character, Commander. There are certain traditions to follow. To begin with, you must make your first Vox transmission from the communication sanctum. I'll contact you via the comm bead when you're finished. We'll also test the internal Vox communication while we're at it." Now I can just intimidate him and say, "I'm not going to deal with this nonsense. Just report over the Vox that I've taken command of the Verdict." No. I'm probably not a sucker for things like tradition, I guess. But this feels important even to me. This feels grand and aggrandizing for me, right? And this guy does look like he cares about his image. So, very well. I'll return shortly. How do I find this place? First of all, our journal's been updated, so let's give that a quick look. The Storm survivors. Test the Verdict's Vox Center. Well, I found our guy. Alright, this is just the next step. Test the Vox Center. Very well. Stuff to investigate as well. The machines in the engineering compartment are making ragged, almost strange noises. Their heat sears your face. Bit screens. Alright, I'm going to stop reading all of the tiny little details here. They're on screen for you to read if you'd like them. But I will run my voice ragged at this rate. There's a lot of them, which I compliment. I like that there is a lot to interact with and read and see to really get yourself immersed, describing the smells and general scents, allowing you to kind of get a sense of place even. The Voxcasts are used for the service. Crackles beneath the ancient prayer book. Pages of the tome are imbued with the acrid smell of candle smoke. I like that stuff. What's this? Smell of engine oil, dust, and ozone. Very well, very well. Remains of porridge. Ew, stuck tight to the plate. Disgusting. Rolled up mattress. The faint musty smell. Yeah, sometimes the scents are maybe not the scents you'd want. We head back over here, perhaps? In fact, if we take a look at the map, we have a clear indicator of where we need to go. No. Doesn't seem to be the case. Not a problem. Guess this is a good way to get familiar with our ship. Sorrow really likes going to the closest chapel, doesn't he? Anywhere he can go to pray, I suppose.
Always on the move.
Makes sense to be pious as a psyker, I suppose. You risk a lot. Storeroom back here. Oh, this looks potentially promising. That was like a boiler room or something. Atmospheric valve. Let's go. Amar. That's the armory. Okay. And this is presumably the med bay. Epione is here after all. So where must I go?
No sense in delaying.
For investigations. Alright. And there's the Vox station. It's always the last place you look. The comm bead in your ear activates. Yermis's voice cuts through the static. The God Emperor protects. How do you read me, Commander? I hear you. Not very clearly, but loud enough. That's good enough. There was this one time when I contacted a comrade over the internal Vox, and he started responding. Then it turned out he'd been dead for 3 cycles. Well, immediately, the rest of the story drowns in static. That sounds terrifying, but I'm done with the communication sanctum. What's next? Servants of the Adeptus Ministorum have delivered a new tome of the ship's litanies to your quarters, Commander. You should collect it, and while you're there, see how everything's been set up for you. Exceptional comfort, you know. Ass out. And I gotta go find my quarters, I guess. Are these my quarters? No, there's no bed here. But hopefully they're not my quarters. Again, let's take a look at the map and see if we've got any markers over here. Maybe this? Yeah. Latania Voidus. A heavy-bound book smelling of sacred unguents is slightly scorched at one corner. Go and pick that up. Here's Yermis again. The God Emperor guides us, Commander. I have no clue what happened to the last book, but aboard the Verdict, we have a custom. The new captain places a tome of the Latania Voidus in the ship's chapel and offers praise to the God Emperor. So you'll need to go to the chapel, too. Oh my god, this wild goose chase. Heading to the chapel. I can hear my character just getting more and more tired, like, oh my god, I just wanted to test one thing, and now I'm doing this run around. Literally. The heavy book lands on the pedestal with a soft thud. The pages fall open to the words, "May the darkness of the void fear the reach of his faithful." I'll offer prayers to the God Emperor, as is custom. The words of the litany fill your soul with confidence and calm. Amid the resonant silence of the ship, a barely audible groan of vibration spreads through the air. The very bulkheads echo your devotion. You begin to discern the melody the ship is singing. Commander, The shipboard cogitator reports the chapel has resumed operation. The pilot's voice in your comm bead shatters the illusion. I'll be waiting for you on the bridge. There's just one last formality left. Very well. Let's make our way out, and I guess I'm glad I get this little tour. I'm sure it'll come in handy down the line, right? And I'm starting to learn exactly where I need to go for various conversations and moments going forward. Uramis, what did you want? Commander, I, by the will of the God Emperor, the ordained pilot and keeper of the Imperial vessel Verdict, place my life and loyalty in your hands. The pilot bows to you and makes the sign of the Aquila. Congratulations, you are now, by all the proper rights, the captain of this ship. Can you hear her bulkheads groan? The gun cutter likes you. I don't take myself to be the kind that complains like this. The ship isn't exactly large. Not my vibe, I don't think. The Verdict is beautiful. As swells with pride as if he had built the Verdict himself. Yeah, I knew it'd have a positive impact. And she'll get even better, Commander. I promise. Is that all? Yes, Commander. We can take off right now if such is your wish. Give me a couple minutes to warm up the engines and recite the litany of ignition. After that we can be off, be it onto the world's surface or into the depths of the void. Wonderful. Navigation. Let's make our way out. Seems prudent. There's no reason to stick around. I suppose we can actually level up, though. So let's take a moment to take a look at that. Here, as we reach level 3, right, we get to choose a specialization and upgrade a characteristic. Again, this chart is quite handy in letting us know what's coming and when, but yeah, we got a specialization and a characteristic. Combat Disruption Specialist. All attacks and abilities inflicting negative effects apply Combat Disruption Suppression. The target suffers a intelligence bonus plus agility bonus debuff percentage hit chance penalty for 1 round, inflicting Combat Disruption Suppression repeatedly prolongs the effect by 1 round and reduces morale by -1. Cool. Impacts our intelligence and agility, as well as our reflexes and wits. And then eventually, I suppose we can get these upgrades: Evil Taunt, Feebleness, Easy Prey, so on and so forth, okay? Demoralization Specialist. The enemy must pass a metal test with a -20 penalty or suffer -4 morale. If they pass, they suffer only a -2 penalty, so either way we're hitting morale. The thing is, I'm not exactly sure what this does. Like, what does a -4 morale mean? Is that a lot? Is that a little? What's the tipping point? And so should I get this or should I get something else? Becomes a little bit difficult to choose right now. And so maybe I won't choose just quite yet, but we'll take a peek at these options at least. Medium Armor Specialist. Gains +15 defense if they wear medium armor. Improves our agility and toughness and our reflexes and resistance, giving us access to some of these talents and modifications down the line as well. And of course we have the option of getting Sanctic at this point, which we won't. It still isn't us. I mean, so far Demoralization Specialist seems like the most fitting. And I can't look at a characteristic until I pick one of these, so let's take a look at the characteristics. And again, it'll add 5 to whatever we choose. There is a limit to how high we can go. We can upgrade any one characteristic 4 times, and that includes the upgrade we made during character creation. Now, I do like that companion values are shown to the side over there. I think that's a really nice touch, because you can very quickly see, like, well, who else is how good at whatever, and adjust accordingly. You know what? I think because I can't really determine which specialization to take right now, maybe I hold off? Nah, that ain't right. Again, look at this guy. He's definitely a Demoralization Specialist. So we take this. We take this, and as far as characteristics are concerned, let's get our willpower bonus up to 6, right? I think that's the right call. I know I was lamenting some of my choices up over here when it comes to other types of fighting, but let's bump our willpower bonus up to 6, and that way we can just do that much more when we're in combat, when we're using our abilities and things like that. Seems like the right call to me. Very well. That was quick and easy. And with that done,
Moving.
to navigation we go. So there's the Maris Portum Sectoris and the Lucid Palace. I figure we go to the Maris Portum Sectoris first. I don't know if I want to deal with the hoity-toity types just quite yet, right? So, To the Maris Portum we go. And we take everybody. Oh, looks like the others have leveled up as well, actually. So perhaps we spend some time doing that. Or, you know what? Let's make some progress. We can investigate leveling up once we've seen combat once or twice, maybe. Let's go.
Out! We're all gonna die in here. The sea will come for us again.
They've come to punish us!
Thanks.
Damn. Instant fear. Acolyte Portilius has been reinstated and is ready to undertake new missions. Wonderful. I guess we have completed our Storm Survivors mission, yeah. And we've made our choice. We didn't go to the spires. We hurried to the lower levels of the Hive City before another seismo-aquatic catastrophe struck the Ham Zone. That's the call we've made. Is that the Echo of the Unearthed? Yes. So we've arrived here. I don't think that has prevented us from going to the Lucid Palace. It's just set a priority. I'm curious if that does actually have an impact or not, but regardless, we need to find Inquisitor Millicentilia and find Sister Septima. I really like both their names. Very well picked names. Is that our way out of here, I suppose? Let's take a look. 50 centimeters of plasteel plate block your way out of the Hab Zone. Silence reigns all around you, and only the quiet hissing of the Vox hanging on the wall beside the door catches your attention. Hang on now. Why am I locked in here?
As I've said before, civilians are not allowed to leave the Maris Portum perimeter. And no, we are not coming to an understanding. Wait a minute, I don't know you.
Well, here's the voice acting. Maybe we can reach an agreement. A representative of the Inquisition would be in your debt. Surely you'd like that? Nah. I'm a member of the Inquisition. You cannot restrict my free movement.
This is the gatekeeper of Gateway P344 speaking. The gate is locked due to an elevated threat level. For permission to exit, contact an authorized official.
Alright, let's step away from the Voxcaster. We came here to get some work done in the first place. Let's focus on that. We'll deal with this guy later. Got some locals. Make our way through. Eyeball here, who has some kind of mask on him, says, "Hello there, upper hivers. You need to know a couple things before you go any further." The grimy man proudly shows off the aluminum tattoos glowing dimly under his skin. That's what that is. I'm here to make sure everybody knows what's what right out of the gate. The Baron and us, his carvers, are in charge of this town. We keep order here, so watch yourselves, and you'll be good. I don't think I want to go around flashing my sigil, right? In the second edition of Dark Heresy, on tabletop at least, there was a system. It's been a while since I played the second edition, and I've only played one campaign in it. Played the original one countless times. Anyway, reminiscing aside, there's a system that rewards keeping a low profile. And again, depending on, the actual game you're playing. So I just have a bit of a, I guess, hesitation as a result of that. Yeah, sometimes, people don't like members of the Inquisition. Especially people like this. So I'm not going to flash the sigil. All I'll say is, I've had colder receptions. Can you tell me about this place? He scratches his head in thought. Alright, listen. You're in the lower town. This is where all the outcasts and unlucky sods live. And then you've got the divers. Don't mess with them. They're under the Baron's protection. From here, you can get to the upper town. That's where the Baron's lair is, along with the local fanatics. The flock of repentance. Blast them. You're better off not going outside the town. There are upper hivers digging around on one side and ferals living on the other. The Baron drove the ferals out of town, and now they'll pounce on any scrap meat they can find. Who are these divers? Local fishermen. Okay. And these upper hivers, who are they? The likes of you. Oh, Christ. Okay, who are the flock of repentance? The fanatics. They scorch their feet and break their fingers in the name of the God Emperor. What about the ferals? They used to be a small problem, but ever since the Baron forced them out of town, they lost their minds from hunger. I see. Good. Just make sure to watch yourself and everything will be fine. I believe I have the full picture. I must go. Take care, Upper Hover. Don't get yourself in trouble. I'll get myself in whatever I damn well please, buddy.
God Emperor all-powerful, grant me the strength and patience to overcome all trials.
Change my warband here. Interesting. Interesting. A bunch of people listening to this guy preach. No doubt he's doom-saying. What do we have going on over here? Guard of onlookers prevents you from approaching the chest. Okay. I'm not going to gun anybody down just quite yet. Not for loot. My tech use is that high? Dang. Guess I'm pretty alright at this. Oh, this looks not great. Or is this something that's been hunted and... Okay. Yeah. This has been fished and cut up for food or something. I was like, is that... It's purple, so I'm immediately suspicious of it. But sure, let's not fiddle with everything we see. We're here for a mission. Let's see if we can't find the Inquisitor first, perhaps. And then we can start fiddling with stuff, right? Locals have locked the passage on the other side to keep the sermon-excited crowd from forcing its way into the residential district. Okay, so not everybody loves this madness out here. Good to know. Good to have a sense of the situation at hand. Daubed in blood, comprehensible to the dull-witted residents of the Hab Zone. This is how the local preachers mark the houses of those who are insufficiently zealous in their service to him.
Keeping my eyes open.
He's on his own. Take him down, boy. I'll crack your head open for the Emperor!
Holy... Alright. That's a decent introduction. The Ogre before you is so huge that it makes him look like a walking slab of rock. His body bears enough burns and wounds to kill any ordinary human, and yet they barely seem to be a nuisance to this giant. He takes a menacing step towards you, raising his weapon with a growl. Guardsmen, stop! Enough! You fought well. No, you know what? I think I'm more likely to say, I'm not your enemy. Again, trying to embody this character, right? I'm not your enemy.
Not the enemy. The sergeant ordered to fight until reinforcement comes. But all the enemies are dead already.
The Ogre freezes at your placating gesture. He shakes his head and looks back at the carnage he has wrought. The anger on his face slowly turns to disappointment, and his growling gives way to comprehensible words. The ones he just said.
You're not the enemy, I thinks. Then, are you reinforcement?
Sure. I can give him a Medicaid kit to help treat his wounds. That might make him a bit more amenable to me. So sure, take this. You should treat your wounds.
For me? I'm not allowed. It's what the sergeant says. But he's not here, so I'll take it.
He grins in satisfaction, and his giant hand snatches the Medicaid kit from you. Tell me your name, Ogren. The Ogren hesitates before showing you the tattoo on his biceps. 0118B. Feels rude to say, are you actually called 0118B? Clearly he, you know, we're not stupid. What happened here?
We was on patrol. These ones came at us. Wounded the sergeant. He gave me orders. Hold position until reinforcement comes. The sergeant went to cover the rear, he said.
Alright, well... So, you're alone out here? No one else from your unit survived?
I'm with Sergeant Ollie. He went to get reinforcement, but he'll be back.
When did he go, buddy? Hamar says, I wouldn't count on it, pal. Hamar scoffs and turns to you. I can't help but wonder why a squad of Fusiliers had to meet an inglorious death in this hole. But what matters right now is we can't abandon Astra Militarum property, which is what this human is. Either he'll end up in the wrong hands, or he'll cause a lot of trouble if we leave him unsupervised. We have to return him to command. Not to mention these boneheads are terribly expensive. Sorrow folds his arms, his tone indignant. The loyalty of this paltry-minded abhuman deserves more than what he has received for his faithful service. Say, who was in command of your unit?
Sergeant Ollie, 10th Platoon, Salinton, Satillan, Fusiliers, 27th. That's right, I think's.
Close enough. Metal test succeeded. Evidently, the Ogren is talking about the Scintillan Fusilier Regiment of the Astra Militarum. Some of the bodies around you are dressed in their uniform. Dang. Why was that a test of my metal? Also, is my metal seriously... No, with the difficulty modifier, it's 105. So, the only way I could have failed that test is if I crit failed it. Oh, I guess I have to ask him this? That's kind of rude, but fair enough. Are you actually called 0118B?
Yes, inventory number. But you can call me Coke. It's what the sergeant calls me.
That's a lot nicer. You can't be allowed to remain here without command. 0118B, you are the property of the Imperium and must come with me until the matter has been cleared up.
I got orders. The sergeant said, hold position. Until the sergeant says so, I not leave position.
He's got a sense of loyalty, I suppose. Perhaps I should help you look for the sergeant.
I not know. But the sergeant was wounded. That's bad. Should find him, maybe.
Well, I don't know what the sergeant looks like. Come with me. You can help me recognize him.
I got orders. But the sergeant has been gone long. Maybe he got lost. Maybe more of these ones attacked him. Have to find the sergeant. All right, we'll go. But can't leave Fusiliers like that. There's bugs here, and those reinforcements are always late.
In the interest of keeping him happy, I'll inform command about the bodies. And actually improve my reputation as I do so. The Ogren nods grimly. The entire time that you spend establishing a connection and conveying the message, he looms over you like a dark, silent mountain. And that faction reputation increase will come in handy, I'm sure.
All right. You'll command until we find Sergeant Ollie. Then he'll command. He knows what to do.
Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me. Now what is this?
Initiating Vox frequency tracking mode.
Right, if we want to go looking for the sergeant. I mean, part of me doesn't, to be perfectly honest, because part of me wants this Ogren to join me in the adventures ahead. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Alright, let's go ahead and pull this. Hopefully it gives us another path here, potentially. Oh no. Is that the sergeant? No. Just some junk we can sell. Sounds good. Signal strength is high over there. Make our way over this way, potentially, is what I'm thinking. Can't see how to get down there. Alright, let's poke around a little bit. Like, I don't know if I can, like, blow this thing open or something. Keep moving this way. We've already investigated that.
Never still for long.
And now we're out of range. Alright, let's see if we can go this way. There's this door. Crack that open. The door is locked with a heavy-duty padlock. Without a key, not even an explosion could help you open it. I mean, I have one of those magic keys. Didn't that do the trick? Give this thing a little nudge. Now that we've got an Ogren for it.
The Holy Ordos teach vigilance.
This is my dump.
Vigilance indeed. Gives us access to consecrated Prometheum mix and some repair kits. Okay, some useful stuff, some junk. Sounds good, sounds good. Keeper. Maybe we have to make our way up over here. Alright, fair enough. Find our way up then. Don't know if this can be climbed. No, our path is blocked, even if it could be. Change our warband here.
Mind your surroundings.
Wow, alright. Lucky awareness check there, I guess. Cracked data slate. I'll pick it up. Sell it for something. Alright, let's make our way over to here. And it's time, I guess, to start fiddling with stuff. Got the ladder over here, we can climb this. Oh, we went out of range but back in range. Fair enough. Up we go. Actually, let's inspect this thing. The carcass of the sea monster shows clear signs of mutation. The precise cause remains a mystery. Okay, so I wasn't far off in being worried about its coloration then. Any reason to come down over here? Not that I can see. Alright.
At once.
Damn, there's junk everywhere. Fire grenade, don't mind if I do. Okay. Let's make our way down then.
For keeping the pipe clean, don't leave pieces of your body in the pipes. The fourth rule for
Seems there is much more to see here. Fair enough. Glad I came. Be grateful for the honor of visiting this place, Subhuman. Got a deaconess, ecclesiarchy servant. Oh, this looks sketchy as hell. All right.
No sense in delaying.
Push through this way. There's an excavation site out here. Oh, I guess that's our primary mission, isn't it? Force container. Let's take a look. Inquisitor Millicentilia's excavation site is outside Maris Portum. And Sister Septima is supposedly on the outskirts of Maris Portum. So we can maybe find the Inquisitor down here. We're looking for the Sergeant. Don't worry about it, buddy. We're looking for him. But to the excavation site we go first, because maybe that's where he is.
Reconnoitering.
Yep, let's make our way over.
My patience has grown thin, old man. We can proceed to the next stage of interrogation, though you will find it even less to your liking.
Well, we found her, so that's cool. What do we got going on over here? Echoing footfalls cause stone dust to fall the spiral grooves on the drill. Fall from, rather. Oh, wow, we can actually examine this thing. To what end, I'm not sure, but that was pretty. Alright, let's make our way over. That felt like a point to no return. Now we should be able to climb that. Hopefully. Yep. We can get up there. I was nervous for a second. Alright. Inquisitor, what are you up to?
Have you remembered anything?
Looming over the Recoliger, curled up on the ground, the Inquisitor asks what does not seem like the first time.
We have guests, Inquisitor.
Says Acolyte Gareth, clearing his throat.
The acolyte who has been prowling around Maris Portum. That's him, mistress.
Anton Zerb's newest protege. I thought you'd make an appearance sooner or later.
Okay, now we know that it's Zerb and not Zerby.
Spess, I've not seen you in some time. It is a pity that you've decided to use your talents in the service of another Inquisitor.
Epione gives the Inquisitor a reserved nod, but does not say a word in response. I'm not going to set myself up to be interrupted. I'm here to provide assistance in your mission.
Is that so? I did not request any assistance from the Cabal. Since you are here, that means you were sent by Lord Inquisitor Zerb. Only he knows about the mission. Gareth, see to the witness's wounds. He is not permitted to die before the end of the interrogation. Dariel, I'll be waiting for a report on our progress. As for you, your arrival is the best evidence that the Lord Inquisitor is losing patience. Isn't that correct?
Is that what it was? I'm trying to remember exactly how he felt about this mission. Wishes to know the reason for your prolonged stay and is offering his assistance. I'm only a messenger. Stay your anger. Is there any way I could be of help to you? I can ask what crime this guy committed, or to tell you the truth, I need your help. You're an expert on ancient Xenos. No, you know what? I'm gonna do the thing where I'm gonna speak above my station. I'm gonna ignore her question to me, and I'm going to ask one of my own. What crime did he commit?
Focus. I will be the one speaking. Save your questions for later.
I knew she would say that, but also, I would say what I said.
My expedition team has gone missing from the excavation site. Workers, disciples of the machine cult, and guards. It started with the first seaquake that hit this hab zone. The workers complained of fatigue and ceaseless nightmares. This is not a local incident. People all over the Maris Portum sectoris are suffering from similar symptoms. Many of them have likewise disappeared without a trace. More and more are going missing every day. Reports have shown that these disappearances are systematic, so we can rule out natural population decline. We must learn why people in the Hab Zone are disappearing, and you will begin your investigations right here in my camp. Even an amateur could see there are signs of looting. It might have been more than one group. Was it several? Find out. Reconstruct the events that took place at the camp. I graciously give you my permission to use the sacred mechanisms bestowed upon the Ordo Xenos by members of the Cult Mechanicus.
The Inquisitor gestures to several bulky Cogita cases. One of them bears an inscription in calligraphic writing under an abundance of purity seals. It reads, Hollow Invoker. Take a quick look at this here. Well, this is cool. This is really cool. Okay, so this is our Inquisitorial Journal, not our regular journal. Missing persons, what caused the disappearances in the Maris Portum Sectoris field camp. Inquisitor Millicentilia's field camp has been abandoned for reasons unknown and now lies in a state of ransacked disorder. Learned this from a conversation. She just said this, I guess. Missing expedition. All the workers and guards of the excavation initiated by Inquisitor Millicentilia have disappeared for reasons unknown. Again, she mentioned this to us. And Maris Portum Sectoris. Hypothesis on the connection to the case. The The inhabitants of the Maris Portum Sectoris perished in the depths of the toxic sea following a series of quakes. Their remains were never found, as their own kin refused to face the raging elements. Cool. This is really cool. I like this a lot. I think I mentioned in a previous episode that you do a lot of investigation, and I mean, I guess proof is in the pudding, right? We've played for approximately 3 hours, excluding character creation, and we haven't had a fight yet. Maybe I could have gotten into one, and I just happened to skip past it without realizing. But I like how, yeah, you play an investigator, and I get that feeling. And fighting comes rarely, but when it does, it should be heavy hitting. And hopefully we'll see some soon, though. I would like to showcase how combat looks in the game, but and also experience it for myself. But this is neat. I'm glad we hit this today. Bunch of ongoing cases potential. Missing persons is what we're dealing with right now. Very well. Back to this conversation. Case open, missing persons, clues acquired, and we've got ourselves 4 Hollow Invokers. A unique set of archaeotech mechanisms capable of briefly reproducing a set of hypothetical images in a confined holo-ray space. I don't need that when I've got the weird stuff going on in my head, right?
And do not forget to interrogate the witness. The old man knows something, but it seems my methods have caused him to lose the last of his memory. I do not have time to coax the answers out of him, so you will deal with it instead. When you are done, report everything you have learned. Any questions?
I could ask her what the Hollow Invoker is, but I'll figure it out. I'd rather cut this conversation short. And what will you be doing while I perform this task? What have you been searching for down here? Remind me, what is it I must do? I'm good, I remember. You said my task is to learn why people are disappearing in the Hab Zone. Would it not be better to focus our efforts on finding the workers instead? Nah. What have you been searching for down here?
Do your job, acolyte.
A man can hope, right? A man can dream. Now, you said my task is to learn why people are disappearing in the Hab Zone. Would it not be better to focus our efforts on finding the workers instead?
It is true that rescuing rabble is not my responsibility. However, I cannot ignore the fact that there is some connection between the timeframes of these disappearances, both of my people and the locals. There is also the mysterious circumstances of these disappearances, and the spread of nightmares in the Hab Zone. As for what that connection is, that is for you to find out. Try not to announce to all of Maris Portum that the Inquisition is operating here. Though even if you introduced yourself as the Lord Inquisitor, I doubt anyone in this place would believe you.
I like it. It points out that what I've done, it validates the decision to stay a little on the down low, right? Looks like I need to speak to her some more, so hey, what'll you be doing while I'm performing this task?
I have other equally important matters to attend to, and asking me such questions requires a level of trust that you have not earned.
I'm sure they're important tasks. Just gonna chill with her feet up. Remind me, what is it I must do?
Investigate the excavation site and piece together the evidence. Reconstruct the events at the camp, then talk to the witness. Report back to me.
Right, and this Hollow Invoker, I've never heard of such a machine.
That is unsurprising. This is a rare piece of archaeotech that even I had to go to great lengths to obtain. The spirits of such machines have the ability to briefly project hololithic images based on the archived data, be it pics, cogiter records, or tactical diagrams.
Well, then I'm ready to start my investigation.
One of my specialists is already investigating the lower level of the excavation. Find out what he's been able to discover. Take this amulet. That way he'll know I sent you. I expect the two of you to work together on this. I need results.
Got ourselves a strange charm here. Sounds good to me. Let's get to it. Now, should I speak to this person first, or was she implying I should speak to him afterwards? Because I felt like I got both sets of commands. Let's see if we can speak to him. The old man looks up at you, exhaustion written in his empty gaze. His dry fingers fiddled mindlessly with the edges of his blood-stained rags.
It's a rare fortune to see an acolyte of a dead Inquisitor not follow him to the grave on the Cabal's orders.
Numerous signs of bruising, superficial damage to the surface layers of the skin, apparent loss of integrity in some of the smaller bones. The procedure was performed with sufficient expertise to ensure that the witness would not expire, yet retain the ability to feel pain. Still, I would recommend refraining from further application of violence, given the subject's age.
I can just glare at the witness menacingly. That's kind of funny. Sure. Nah, I mean, what am I gonna do? He was just being tortured by the Inquisitor. What's a menacing glare gonna do? Look, if you tell me everything you know, you'll live. The old man nods with visible effort. Okay. What do you know? Nah. Have you noticed anything suspicious in Maris Portum? Let's start broad, right? And not horrifying.
I have, Master. I have. There's those divers living by the shore. Madmen all, I tell you. One day, there I was, walking along the shore, seeing what the sea might have brought. I look over, and it's them divers. Chanting something, or maybe it was witchcraft, I couldn't tell. And then they started dumping corpses in the water. I took off running. It was horrible.
Alright, we've acquired a new lead. Since the first Seaquake, inhabitants of the Hab Zone have been suffering from nightmares, and people have been disappearing en masse in the town. More and more people are going missing every day. And our new lead here says that the divers perform sinister rituals on the shore of the town, after which they throw bloody corpses into the sea. Very well.
I heard those apostates worship some sea creature like it's a saint. It's why they butcher people, to offer them to the beast. I haven't seen it myself, Master, but it's what people say.
Okay, and what do you know about the nightmares affecting people in Maris Portum?
Oh, I know about the sleep sickness. When the sea started shaking, that's when the nightmares came. Everyone came down with it. Those flock of repentance folk say it's the God Emperor warning us, telling us to repent. But I don't know about any of that, Master. I just want to get by.
Tell me about this flock of repentance.
Believers from his congregation, Master. They've lost their way, though. They've all forgotten St. Sibelius's name. And now they say everyone should cleanse themselves through pain. They say that's how we can serve the God Emperor and save ourselves from the nightmares. They have a leader. Fancy old name. I forget what it was. But I did see their marks around the camp. Written in blood, they were.
Very well. Now tell me what you've already told the Inquisitor, and don't even think of hiding anything.
Yes, Master. I used to scoop grease off your food vats here. Traded it for rations at the market. The first time that great machine of yours went all quiet, I waited a little and came to see what this place was about. I saw intruders here with weapons. So I hid in one of them vats, and they didn't spot me. That's where I've been hiding every time since. But now you found me after all.
He weakly jerks his shoulder in the direction of the acolytes. Describe the intruders for me.
About a dozen of them there was. They had guns. Scary folks. Could have been bandits or such like. I didn't get a good look at them. But they weren't here for the food vats, that's for sure.
Is that everything? Don't forget, the more you tell me, the better your chances of living. Fairly high chance of success over here. Fingers crossed. Let's roll the dice.
The Baron. The Baron's orders were that no one was to come near this place. But those armed intruders, they look like his lot.
Now here's the thing. Do I let him go? Or do I make him stay put? I don't want to kill him. He's been very cooperative. So stay here. I may have more questions later. Feels bad because God knows what's going to happen to him, but I think I might need him alive. And here. All you hear in response is the old man's quiet whimpering. Sorry, buddy. He's alive, though, so he can't be that upset. Nonetheless, folks, this I fear, is where we're going to call it a session. Hopefully you've enjoyed this and the episodes prior. Seems the plot is slowly thickening, like the grease this man was once collecting. But it's been interesting to see just how focused this game is on, yes, investigation and sticking our nose into other people's business. We've been eavesdropping, we've been having, we've been showing up where we're perhaps unwelcome. It's really interesting to see how all that plays out, and I really am curious about this whole layer of investigation, this inquisitorial journal stuff. Like, this is super cool to me. I'm really excited to see that this exists, and I'm really curious to see how it actually plays out and how it grows and how you come to conclusions, and can you get them wrong, or are you always going to get them right? Or are there multiple endings for each case? I'm not sure, but this has got my synapses firing. It's got me very curious. Nonetheless, folks, like I said, this is where we're going to go ahead and call it a session. I am hopeful that we'll see some combat in the next episode, but again, just as a quick reminder, at the moment, I'm not exactly sure when that next episode is going to come, because at the time of this video's release, I'm currently out of country, and I've tried to record as many of these episodes back-to-back as possible, so that you can have a series to enjoy while I'm out of town. With that said, I'm hoping to do at least a few more episodes, I think, generally. Perhaps I'll record them when I return, perhaps I'll be able to record them right now. So, if you want to stay up to date with when the next one releases, don't hesitate to subscribe to the channel so you actually get a bit of a notification. But with that said, though, yes, I'm very curious to play at least a little bit more, a few more episodes, see some action at the very least, and then we'll make a decision together about the plan for this beta phase of Dark Heresy. Because again, I'm hoping to play a little bit in this beta phase and eventually come back to the game when it releases in full. But that's enough of my rambling for now, folks. I hope you enjoyed this session. If you did, you know what to do. Let me know by leaving a like and a comment down below. As always, it makes a very big difference in just letting me know what people are enjoying on the channel, letting me know what I should do more or less of, and how I should go about doing it. Apart from that, as always, a massive thanks goes out to all of the channel members and patrons who've been supporting the channel on a monthly basis. Y'all keep us alive and running smoothly. And of course, a big old thanks goes out to each and every one of you for watching. Until next time, cheers.